call this meeting to order. We will now have our invocation by Chipper Smith.
Let us pray. God, we thank you for this day that we've never seen before. We thank you for this meeting where we can do the business of the city of Florence, a place that we love and cherish. Please bless our city, our state, and our nation. God, please move any divisiveness that we may all come together to the betterment of our city and to our citizens. Please look into our hearts and look into our minds that we make decisions that are pleasing to you and to you only. In your name I do pray. Amen.
Now our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, council, I want to stop and pause. We have a new member to join us, Mr. Zach McKay, and we welcome you to the team. Councilman.
Thank you, ma'am. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Our approval of minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes? The ayes have it. Now we will have honors and recognitions. Oh, I'm sorry, council, with your permission, can I move the resolutions B, D, and E up right after appearances before court? The council, yeah, I think we're in court. Okay, no objections? Thank you so much. All right, now we will have honors and recognitions. Nisha Johnson, 20 years, utility finance.
Handling phone inquiries and setting up new services. On November 27th, 2016, she was promoted to Customer Service Representative 3, expanding her duties to include working with meter readings, verifying rereads for accuracy, processing new utility tap applications, identifying 90-day delinquent accounts, and managing the monthly billing process. In November 2022, Naisha was promoted to Customer Service Representative Team Lead. While she continues to perform her Customer Service Representative 3 responsibilities, she now leverages her extensive experience in utility finance, operations, and customer service to train new employees, monitor daily phone activity, and oversee productivity. Naisha provides a dependable presence in the utility finance office, and her years of service reflect her loyalty to the city. We sincerely appreciate your dedication and commitment to serving the Florence community. Congratulations.
Y'all come. And now, y'all just stay here. Now we will have Shannon McKenzie, which is 15 years of police, in the police department.
Come on up, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you. We are recognizing Shannon for 15 years of service with the City of Florence Police Department. Corporal Shannon McKenzie began his career with the City of Florence Police Department on April 12th of 2010. After completion of the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy, he was assigned to the Uniform Patrol Division. Shannon spent the next 3 years patrol, answering calls for service, and protecting and serving the citizens of Florence while honing his community policing skills. In 2013, Shannon transferred to the Special Investigations Unit, taking on the role of a narcotics agent. Since that time, he has diligently investigated and enforced drug, prostitution, gambling, and other vice-related crimes. In November of 2013, Shannon became a dog handler in the Special Investigations Unit. His first K-9 partner was named Banker, and they worked in tandem together for the next 6 years until Banker was retired in 2019. Also in 2019, Shannon was promoted to the rank of corporal and remained with the Special Investigations Unit. And then in November of 2020, Shannon welcomed his second K-9 partner, Magnum. In addition to all of his responsibilities within the Special Investigations Unit, in 2021, Shannon became a certified hostage and crisis negotiator, and has been instrumental in diffusing multiple crisis situations. In August of 2022, Shannon became a member of the Violent Crime Task Force, consisting of the Florence County Sheriff's Office and the Florence Police Department. Shannon, along with members of this task force, have made a positive impact on our community by removing significant amounts of illegal drugs and weapons from our streets, as well as capturing numerous drug offenders and violent criminals. Last year, members of this task force received national recognition in California for the number of illegal weapons that they removed from the streets. Corporal Shannon McKenzie is a conscientious, dedicated, and a extremely valued member of the Florence Police Department, and we congratulate you for 15 years of service.
All right. Next on the agenda, we have appearances before council. Ms. Susan Brown to address a handicap ramp for Barn Street Activity Center.
I got my stopwatch on, friend, for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Thanks for hearing my plea for a handicap ramp in front of the doors of the entrance of the Barn Street Center. I know the building meets ADA requirements, but the existing ramp is located a distance from the door, and so some of the seniors have walkers and canes, and they can't have to go that distance and come back to the entrance. The curb blocks the direct path, and it is incredibly difficult and even unsafe. I've been discussing this issue with city officials since at least March of 2022, but maybe even longer. For a while, I was told it was going to be looked into, and I was told it was going to happen. But then at the end of 2024, I was told no, it's not happening. That was hard to hear. On behalf of my sister Kathy and so many others who utilize the Barn Center, I want to thank you for what you already do to improve the community's quality of life. The Barn Street Center is the home of the ALS program, older, wiser, livelier seniors, and I would like to emphasize older and livelier. While the citizens in this group are livelier, they are older or getting older, and some of them do rely on walkers and canes to get around. So, if you're an ALS member, please stand. I got a couple friends. All right. Unfortunately, the accessibility issues still exist at the center, and they need to be addressed. I'd like to share my sister's story with you and illustrate why. Before Alzheimer's disease severely impacted her mobility, she was incredibly active. She exercised regularly. She took a variety of exercise classes, specifically Tai Chi and chair yoga at the Barnes Street Center. Unfortunately, her physical and cognitive health has declined, and the only class she can participate in is the chair yoga class at the Barnes Street Center. Her mobility has decreased to the point she must use a walker, but she's fallen 30-something times over the past few years. We know the city wants to provide a safe and welcoming space for all its residents. But when a facility presents barriers to accessibility, like a curb directly in front of the main entrance, it becomes more than just an inconvenience. It becomes a risk. While I'm not here to talk about the legal concerns, I do believe addressing this now is simply the responsible thing to do for the safety of those who use the center and for the city of Florence itself. In order to assist Kathy and others with severe mobility issues, I strongly urge you to construct a ramp that extends directly from the front door of the center to the handicap parking spaces. By doing so, you will not only be making the building more accessible, you're showing that our seniors' safety and dignity matter. And okay, will the others? I don't know if Zilphy stood. Will the others in the audience who came to support this please stand? Did you stand? Okay. I can't see through the poll. All right. So Florence City Council, I know that you want to do the best for all people. Thank you for listening and taking the time to truly consider what this means to families like mine. All right, now my time, I still got time. Jay Lawrence was one of my kids. I was the school counselor at Lester Elementary, so we've known each other long. Anyway, and when I spoke to some people about this, which we are a real friendly group, the ALS program, but they said like they have to hold the door open for Kathy, like when I'm going to get the car or something. And so we really want handicap doors and all too, to make it accessible. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brown. We have a question.
Okay.
And just for clarification, initially I was thinking about the Pearl Moore Center, but this is the Barnes Street Activity Center. So I pulled up a picture just now. I'm not. So I know there's not a ramp, but is this considered a ramp here? I wish I could put it up here. But you're saying you want one in front of the entrance?
The entrance doors, yes.
Entrance
There's a
door?
ramp halfway down the building.
Okay.
But some people, it's too far to walk there and walk back and get into class and do class,
Okay.
And you know what? We're going to be there one day.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Councilman Smith.
I think it's a question for city manager. Are we in compliance as far as like any state laws or?
We are.
We are. Okay. So, my question, Ms. Brown, would be, your request again is just to have it placed in a different location, the ramp.
To make it easier for people to get in. And I have a copy of this in front of everybody. I had it turned down. Okay? But yes, I know it meets ADA. But it's still not accessible for everybody. And it's not safe to go up a curb when you have mobility problems.
Councilman, what's your name? Braddock.
Well,
And Zach has something.
I'll defer to Zach then.
Okay, Zach.
Yeah, I knew that this was on the agenda, so I went over there and looked, and I will say, she does have a point, that wraparound. I couldn't fit it's no secret here, in a wheelchair, but mine could not fit on that, from where you go to the ramp, and then come around the building, to the front door. My wheelchair is too wide, would not fit. So I do agree with her. It is a very tight spot, and then to get where it is from the handicap parking, you also have to go into traffic, which could be, again, a legal issue for the city down the road. I do think it's at least worth looking into at a minimum.
Okay, I think you're
Well, I mean, I just want to say this. It's no surprise that a situation to me, comes up initially because we as council haven't been in a position to represent everyone from a position of understanding, as we can today. And so I think what Councilman McKay has to say is much more important than anything that I could add.
Okay, Councilman.
Would it be, what I would recommend, Mr. City Manager, is if this matter were to be consulted, if you would consult with Councilman McKay and just let him give his thoughts on what could be done, and then maybe that's something y'all can report back to us on at a later time. Will do. Sir.
Thank you.
And one thing I can say, thank you for bringing this to our attention, because if I can be honest, I'm looking at this and I was going to ask him to put this up here for you to tell us what you were saying, because even with my eyes, I'm looking at it, I can't see it and don't understand it.
A friend recommended me to take pictures, but I didn't have time.
But it helped with
Yeah.
someone going out there to see, because I'm not seeing it. So thank you so much for bringing this to our attention.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda, we will move to the resolutions. Council, if you don't mind, we will move to B, D, and E. First on the agenda is resolution number 2025-11. This is a resolution to proclaim April as Fair Housing Month in the city of Florence.
So moved.
Second. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Jerry?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll proceed to read the resolution. Resolution to proclaim April as Fair Housing Month. Whereas Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 prohibits discrimination in housing and declares it a national policy to provide for fair housing in the United States, and whereas the principle of fair housing is not only national law and national policy, but a fundamental human concept and right for all Americans, and whereas National Fair Housing Law during the month of April provides an opportunity for all Americans to recognize that the issue of fair housing continues to be a problem for many families of all races, and that complete success can only be accomplished with the help and cooperation of all Americans. And whereas the City of Florence, in its commitment to fair housing, proclaimed the month of April as Fair Housing Month, and urge all of our citizens to join in this effort to reaffirm our individual commitment to support the practice and the spirit of the Fair Housing Law. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the City Council of the City of Florence and the State of South Carolina does hereby proclaim the month of April as Fair Housing Month, resolved this 14th day of April, 2025. And we do have members from the PD Realtors Association to accept the award, or the proclamation.
That's all right.
As a group, y'all may move this.
Congratulations, we y'all can sing.
I would just like everyone to know that the PD Realtor Association proudly represents the 7 counties of PD, and we teach and preach fair housing every day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council, next we have Resolution 2025-13. The resolution to recognize for the Florence 10U All-Star Basketball Team for winning the South Carolina Athletic Program Championship. Are they out there?
He's getting,
He's getting them.
yes, ma'am.
About an hour or two.
was so fast at that, we did not get a motion.
Read it all, I think. Resolution number. You already did it.
I did that.
So move.
Well, she's got to read, you're gonna read it.
Yes, ma'am.
She's gonna read it. Come back up against this right here, okay? Great.
All right.
Okay,
Motion.
all those in favor? There you go.
All right. Resolution number 2025-13, a resolution of recognition for the Florence 10U All-Star Boys Basketball Team for winning the South Carolina Athletic Programs Championship. Whereas the City of Florence 10U All-Star Boys Basketball Team competed in the state tournament, winning the South Carolina Athletic Programs crown. And whereas the team's journey to success began with their victory at the district tournament held in Florence, showcasing their commitment to excellence and teamwork. And whereas following their district triumph, the team advanced to the SCAP state tournament held at the Button Wells Recreation Center in Beaufort, South Carolina, where they displayed remarkable determination and competitive spirit. And whereas led by coaches James Eason, Robert Demps IV, and Anthony Waters, the 10U All-Star Boys delivered impressive performances, defeating North Charleston and East Columbia on March 8th, 2025, to secure a place in the championship game. And whereas in a decisive rematch against East Columbia on March 9th, 2025, the Florence Boys rose to the occasion to claim a 43-17 victory and secure the SCAP state championship title. And whereas through hard work, dedication, and perseverance, these athletes have proven themselves state champions and are role models for our area. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Florence, South Carolina, commends this athletic accomplishment and congratulates the 10U All-Star Boys basketball team for their remarkable achievement in winning the South Carolina Athletic Programs Championship.
Can I get Coach McCall? Coach McCall.
Come on down.
No.
Yeah, right here, and I'm gonna stand right here, because Coach McCall is the one that's presenting this, and so,
I'm not the mayor, but I will. I'll hop in.
thank you, Coach. Somebody may wanna say something.
I'm not really much of a talker, so I just want to say, just thank you for giving me the opportunity to coach you guys. Y'all did a heck of a job, and just also that even though all this is over, continue to chase your dreams and don't let anyone stop what you're trying to do. Okay, that's pretty much it. And I want to say thank you to all the parents. If it weren't for y'all, we wouldn't have these kids that we have out here today.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Great job.
Great job. Keep up the good work. I think now we have, I'll let them clear out. They've been here for a while, so they're kind of wired up. Resolution number 2025-14, 14, this is a resolution to recognize for the Florence 17U All-Star Boys Basketball Team for winning the South Carolina Athletic Program Championship.
So move.
Second it. All those in favor? The ayes have it.
That's a lot of hardware.
I'm
shaking.
walk
I
and make
love
it
it.
jiggle. Now you got to go down there.
All right, resolution number 2025-14, a resolution of recognition for the Florence 17U All-Star Boys Basketball Team for winning the South Carolina Athletic Programs Championship. Whereas the City of Florence 17U All-Star Boys Basketball Team competed in the state tournament, winning the South Carolina Athletic Programs crown. And whereas the team's journey to success began with their victory at the district tournament held in Florence, showcasing their commitment to excellence and teamwork. And whereas following their district triumph, the team advanced to the SCAP state tournament held at the Buckwalter Recreation Center in Bluffton, South Carolina, where they displayed remarkable determination and competitive spirit. And whereas, led by coaches Henry Bird, Renato Cannon, and Sean Wiles, the 17U All-Star Boys delivered impressive performances, defeating Pickens and Seneca on March the 8th, 2025, to secure a place in the championship game. And whereas in the championship game on March 9th, 2025, the Florence boys rose to the occasion to claim.
We are so proud of you. This teaches you that you are winners and can win at life. Coaches?
Sean, you ain't shot.
Just like the last coach said, I'm not much on words, even though I was in the military and we had to be in the spotlight. But now, you know, when you get to that family life, you kind of shy back from a lot of things. But I'm very proud of these guys and the coaches that was with me. This is my first experience with this, but I've been coaching all my life with young kids and everything. But these guys here, even though they older, at times we had to get on them, you know, about discipline and things like that. But, you know, that's with every young kid, you know what I'm saying, you know. But once they locked in into what we was buying and giving them, that's when they rose to the occasion and everything. And like I said, I couldn't be so more proud of my coaching staff and these kids on the accomplishment that they achieved. The only thing I can say to them is that I hope they take that same success into everyday life and what they do for us here and now, and everything.
Thank you all so much. Coaches, thank you for all that you've done. Anybody has any?
Well, I would say I want to thank the players for on their commendable achievement. That's real good stuff. I would say I would want to thank the coaches, but Renato, Coach Cannon got all that sophomore, all that San Francisco 49er gear. But again, thank you all for what you're doing. You're being role models to these kids and grooming them and molding them to be better community members. So thank you all for what you did. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Council, next on the agenda is ordinance in position. Bill number 2025-08 is the second reading. An ordinance to adopt the updated downtown design standard for the city of Florence.
So moved.
Question.
There's a question.
No, wait,
Second, there's a second, so, now.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Jerry, quick question. I've been looking on and through the downtown design standards. Are there any way or any place within these standards that require the renter or owner to have or use a commercial contractor?
Within the design guidelines? I don't think so. I don't recall that in the guidelines specifically. I'd have to perform a search to say for certain, but I do not recall the design guidelines requiring the use of a commercial contractor.
Clint, did you want to say something?
Yeah, that will be, so any requirements for a commercial contractor will be under the International Building Code. So any of our building codes, certain work, I think it's specifically work being performed in excess of $5,000 on a commercial building has to be performed by a licensed commercial contractor.
Okay, and the thing
But
that
that's completely separate from the design guidelines.
yeah, because I've had some people tell me that they were told that they had to use a commercial contractor when having some work done in the downtown area. And I was kind of confused about that because when I looked up in the state of South Carolina, there's no such thing as a commercial contractor. They use the general GC to be able to work on commercial and residential buildings, but a specific commercial contractor, it does not exist in the state of South Carolina. So I'm kind of worried about that because that kind of gives people an idea that they have to use a certain type of contractor when it doesn't exist.
That would be throughout the city. So when they're coming in to pull building permits, that would be even outside of the downtown or within the downtown. Again, it depends on what type of work that they're doing and to what level they're doing would dictate what type of licensing the contractor would have.
Okay, because again, in the state of South Carolina, there's no such license as a commercial license. It's only general contractors. So I want us to kind of be mindful because a lot of these folks don't understand what they have to do when they go down there. And when they hear commercial contractor, it sounds like a lot. And it sounds like something that could be more than what a general contractor can do, which is what's listed in the state of South Carolina.
The chair, chair recognizes Council Jabez.
Clint, Jerry, while it's a significant question that Councilwoman has asked, does it have anything to do with the downtown design guidelines that are currently in front of us?
That's why I had to ask, was there anything in there
Okay.
requesting that? That's why I started off with that, yeah.
Okay, so moving forward with this, that's a separate question. Okay, just wanted to be clear on that. Thank you.
Yeah, separate, but I want us to make it clear and understandable for everybody.
Councilman Call.
I got you. So one thing I would say after reviewing the minute meetings from last meeting, I think there was a discussion pertaining to the noise ordinance. Now this ordinance is to amend a section of the UDO. So what I want to do is I want to make a motion to defer, so we can take a look at. We are amending the UDO, but I want to take a further look at.
The changes.
I want to take a further look at some things pertaining to amending the UDO.
Is that a motion?
So I make a motion to defer.
Second that.
Well,
Okay, discussion, okay.
yes. The noise ordinance is a separate am I correct that the noise ordinance is a separate ordinance, just like the International Building Code is something separate in our code system?
The noise ordinance is a section of the Unified Development Ordinance.
Right.
Not the design guidelines.
And
or the
this is
design
just
standards.
approval of the design guidelines,
That's correct.
which has nothing to do with the noise ordinance.
That's
And
correct.
so if we wanted as a council to address the noise ordinance, we certainly can do that. But that has nothing to do with the design guidelines that are currently before us, am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I don't understand why, when one has nothing to do with the other, and if we want to look at the noise ordinance, I'm more than happy to look at it, if that's what we want to do. But
Can
why-
Can I make a suggestion? Can we get, can we go into executive session with this to get legal advice on this? Would that be okay with you all?
I'll move that we go into executive session.
No objection.
Madam Mayor, would it be to receive information related to procedurally what you need to do?
Because we're asking what goes in, what doesn't, can we get that in executive session, or we can't?
Procedurally, yeah.
Procedurally,
Yes.
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 Okay, that's,
Yes.
okay.
So would you want to defer any action, I guess, at this point in the meeting, and then?
Yeah,
We'll
we
come back
would
later.
discuss it
Okay.
there.
And then come back out.
Yes.
Okay. I do, and I need a vote on that?
There's no objection.
Yeah, I already
If there-
deferred it.
Yeah.
You wanna
Do I need to get a vote on it going into executive session?
If you want to go into executive session
No,
now.
not now. No, I do not want to go now. We want to finish this. Okay, so we will move this to executive session. Okay.
If you want to just defer this on the agenda to later.
Yes,
after
thank
executive
you so
session.
much.
So you can do
That's
that.
what I want to do.
Yes.
We will move this. All right, next we will have bill number 2025-12, second reading. It's an ordinance to rezone from NC 15 to NC 6.1, the property located at Dexter Drive and Atwood Avenue, identified as Florence County Tax Map number 00150-01-140.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposes? The ayes have it. Next, we have on our agenda Bill number 2025-13. It is the second reading. An ordinance to amend the budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024, and ending June 30th, 2025. What say you?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposes? The ayes have it. Next, we have on our agenda introduction of ordinance. Bill number 2025-14. This is the first reading. An ordinance to amend the Unified Development Ordinance regarding setbacks for community communication towers.
Since we, Madam Mayor, since we deferring that, could we go ahead and defer this as well, because it falls under that UDO? Is that?
Yeah, is that,
That's, I mean, if we're gonna amend the UDO at the same time, let's do it all at the same time, right?
No, if, has this been moved and seconded?
we moved and seconded. Jerry
Okay.
came up.
No, not this bill.
No, not this one. Is there a motion? I mean, has,
So moved.
and second?
Second, okay.
no.
Now,
If have full responding, anything that relates to the UDO is, there are many separate entities, and if you want to, Jerry, briefly give us what these elements are and how we have, over the years, treated them separately and handled them separately, and the separate ordinances for each and every one, as opposed to considering it all in one
Point
lump
of
sum.
order. That's not germane to,
Well, I think that's
Essentially,
the
it's
question that was asked.
that goes to the chair. Point of order.
okay, so can we do, what is your point of order?
That his statements are not germane to this bill. It's pertaining to the history of, we're not, there's no motion to defer. It's
No,
the first
no.
and the second.
No,
It's
no,
a,
no,
excuse
no.
me, I had the floor. It's a first and a second to adopt this. And you're talking about a deferral. No one made a motion to defer.
No,
Therefore, you are out of order.
no, I think LaShondra made a motion to go to the
Executive session and talk
executive
about all this
session,
while we gonna talk about it.
and he,
They didn't want, I don't think anyone second her motion to go into executive session.
Okay, we can go to executive session on this one too. That's fine.
No
Okay.
objections.
no objections, any objections?
No.
Okay, so we will move this to executive session. Okay, next we will move to bill number 2025-15. It's the first reading. An ordinance to amend the Somerset Acre Planned Development on Jefferson Drive, I'm sorry.
So move.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Oh, no, before we vote.
Oh, Jared.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. This is an older planned development district that was adopted in the early 2000s. It comprises property located along Jefferson Drive, between Jefferson Drive and Palmetto Street. And the planned development within it, and I can go to the old, this is the old planned development that was adopted, had various zoning districts in it, ranging from single-family residential to multifamily to commercial allotments. And all of these are based on the old 1999 consolidated zoning ordinance. Because it's a PDD and it referenced that document, it kind of takes a snapshot in time. And so whenever amendments or development occurs in this planned development district, we compare the development against the old consolidated zoning ordinance. And there's a portion, I'm going to back up to the map here. There's a portion, this area in red is all designated as commercial property or B3 designation. However, the owner of the property wants to develop it with more apartments or more multifamily buildings, just like what you see there above it. Basically just a kind of a mirror of one of those rows of apartments. And within that old B3 designation, it does not allow the density. It only allows a density, I believe, to 6.5 units per acre, whereas they want to construct the apartments to be at 14.5 units per acre. And so what they're proposing is to change this to the R5 designation within the planned development, which would allow them to move forward with this development. And on this image, you can see in red here, that's what they want to construct in that segment of that property. It's very much in agreement with what is adjacent to it. It leaves the portion along Cashua there zoned commercial in this instance, and it is surrounded by either the school, Del May, to the I guess to the east, and other apartment buildings around it and commercial property. And Planning Commission did unanimously vote to approve this 6-0. This concludes staff's report.
Thank you. What say ye?
So moved.
All those in favor? Opposes? The ayes have it. Next on the agenda is Bill number 2025-16. This is an ordinance to annex and zone NC 6.2 to property located at 1006 West Marion Street, identified as Florence County Tax Map number 90060-13-005. What say ye?
So moved.
Oh no. Chair?
Yes, this property is located along Marion Street. It is contiguous with city limits. Here's a closer version of it. It's very close to some of the city's neighborhood redevelopment, as well as very close to some of the Habitat for Humanity development that has been occurring in this area. The property is proposed to be zoned NC 6.2, which is an agreement with surrounding properties, as well as the future land use for the property. And here's a site photo. The property, as you can see, is a burned property. Upon annexation, they would like to take advantage of our demo program as well, which is in agreement with our neighborhood revitalization strategy. And Planning Commission did unanimously vote to recommend this zoning designation. And this concludes staff's report.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Opposes? The ayes have it. Next on the agenda is introduction of resolutions. We have resolution number 2025-10, a resolution to designate additional public spaces within the city of Florence in the possession, sale, service, consumption, and distribution of beer and wine at special events may be permitted.
So moved.
Second.
Victoria?
Honorable Mayor and Council, this resolution will allow approved groups and organizations to sell and distribute alcohol at our Tim Bryant Park pickleball courts and spectator areas, as well as the tennis courts and spectator areas, as well as our amphitheater and the lawn. We will require individuals to submit a part use permit, and it'll be upon approval of our department. And we will require them to utilize the officers in blue in regards to having this special event or any special events there.
Councilwoman Neesmith.
Ms. Victoria,
Yes.
does this include only just those specific areas named, or throughout all the areas in which people, so we just limiting to,
That's correct.
Is there
Just the
reason-
specific areas that's listed in the resolution.
is there a reason why?
Yes, we do not want to allow individuals to have alcohol, for say, at the playground or any of the other open areas at the park. So we want to designate certain locations for special events or tournaments that may go down at, or happen at the Timrod Park area.
Okay. But this will only be at the pickleball area?
Pickleball, tennis, spectator areas, the amphitheater, and the lawn within Timrod Park. Yes.
Got it. Okay, that's all I need to know.
You got a question? Okay, Councilman.
Yeah, I do have a quick question. Is there any other parks that this is allowed at other than
Yes.
this here so far?
Yes.
Where at?
So currently we have the Lot and Chase House and the lawn. We have the soccer complex as well as the Carolina Bank Field.
So the question is, if there was, because I was reading this too, if there was like another, I guess, park that has similar, I guess, uses to like this pickleball courts or spectator areas, do you have to always come back to council for a
Resolution, correct.
resolution? Okay.
Yes.
Because I was thinking that maybe something the city manager can just do, but I guess we want to kind of keep here. Well, that's fine. That was my question. I just had that one quick question.
Councilman Braddock.
Two questions. One, those other places that you referenced, do any of those have like children areas, playgrounds, and things like that?
No, sir. No playgrounds at the Lot and Chase House, nor soccer, nor the Carolina Bank Field.
And other question is, like what range, is it beer and wine? Is it, what's the range? Like
It's beer and
alcohol
wine.
content?
It's beer and wine.
Only beer and wine.
Yes.
Could it be, I mean, my only concern is this, it changes the nature of the park in terms of if you have children and different things there, plus that park, truth be told, has other elements, folks there that may not need that opportunity, and could be disruptive. That may not be there just to watch pickleball, but may be there for other reasons. So
Right.
I just think that we potentially may be opening up Pandora's box.
And that's why we will require the officers in blue to be present at the special events.
Because we feel like we will have issues.
Just for precautionary, I mean, not saying that we will or we won't, but just to be on the safe side. That's
not
it, both
reactive.
ways.
Yeah, I have reservations on that at this time.
Okay, Jay.
In that instance, who is paying for the officer to be on site? Would that be
The organization.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Smith?
Okay, inside of our permit, what is our, and I guess this may be an attorney question, what is our restriction as far as alcohol consumption? As far, because we're having this at parks, and there are going to be children at those type of events. But what is our restriction as far as alcohol consumption?
With respect to
In perspective of, I know at some places that sell permits, is it somebody can buy 2 alcoholic drinks per person at a time? As far as that,
So there's no limit?
Yes.
It's about limit.
we would need to look into that to see specifically how the event's set up, and then we could advise you better on what specifically would be the limitations on that.
could we put limitations on certain events compared to other events? Ron, could we put limitations on certain events compared to other events? Would probably be my bigger question.
We certainly can look at certain restrictions that the city would want to propose by ordinance to require limitations at council's direction, certainly.
Chief is coming up, so,
Well, I saw the chief asked him to come up because it was kind of going in his field. As Ms. Nash talked about, this will be private groups. The city is not actually selling or distributing any of that alcohol there. we're not necessarily, wouldn't be in a position to determine how many drinks people would consume or the hours of time. We would have no involvement except to actually sign that permit with the officers in blue.
So, City Manager, thank you for answering that. So I'm good, as long as we have there's no liability for us and it's on the private party then. But I do want to make sure that, and again, in all permits, they're required to have the Officers in Blue program. Am I saying that right?
That is correct.
Okay, Councilman McCall, and then Councilman Jabali, then Brad.
Okay. And this is for I guess for my reasoning on it, because initially I was for it, which I think I still am, but I just want to still make sure I'm clear on it. So we now it's now permitted to allow private organizations to serve alcohol at Carolina Bank and where you said in the
Soccer complex,
the
as well
soccer
as the Lot and Chase House and Lawn.
Chase House Lawn. Okay. So why not also? So why the tennis courts and not the basketball courts and the football fields? Why particularly the football? Why particularly not the tennis courts? Is it the area or?
So, for example, we have a pickleball or a tennis or tournament coming up. We would have adults participating in those, and if the USTA is an organization that would like to have alcohol on premises for spectators and everything, they would have to have this approval first.
And if and a follow up on that, does other municipalities allow? I guess if they having tournaments too, do they allow
Yes.
for a similar type of?
That's correct.
Thank you.
So, with regard to the issue of liability that Councilman Smith raised, it's my understanding, but correct me if I'm wrong, that in addition to them, whoever's putting on that tournament, to having to hire the Officers in Blue, they also have to provide the city with a policy of insurance.
Yep, general liability insurance.
And we are named as a
certificate holder.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is the liability limits that we're requiring?
So there's $1 million.
Okay, we're requiring them to carry $1 million
Yes,
policy of insurance.
that's correct.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Braddock?
I mean, I just have problems with this. You mentioned Carolina and the soccer complex. Neither one of those are in a residential area. This park's in a residential area where we have playgrounds, where it's been, really for children. And we got several other places where people, could go drink or do whatever. I think there's too much focus on the liability, which means that we foresee a problem. And so, I just don't think that bringing, alcohol into an environment which has really primarily been for children in the past and just people looking to, enjoy a quiet park, to bring that in there. The other thing is it's not contained like Carolina, the Carolina area and the soccer complex. That's kind of a contained area. Someone gets drunk or rowdy or whatnot, they can go 100 different directions, and every direction that they go, they're going to run into someone's home. And so, for me, I just don't think that whatever, money that we would generate or whatever tournaments that we would generate isn't worth exposing a residential area to potential problems that we're already believing that we have to have police there, and we're already concerned about the liability. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. And we're really changing the whole nature of that park and what it's been by changing that status.
Councilman Bailey.
We have the tennis courts out there by the Carolina Bank Field, and we
Yes,
hold
the tennis center. Yes, sir.
the tennis center, and we hold a lot of tournaments out there as well. Is that one of the venues where it's currently allowed?
It's also, yes, at the tennis center.
Okay, so
It's already
We have
allowed.
we have tournaments where we have
okay.
that out
So
there.
as I understand it, and Councilman Braddock's point is, the soccer complex is kind of a separate entity unto itself.
Sure.
The Carolina Bank Field is sort of a separate entity unto itself. The tennis center is kind of a separate entity unto itself. But Timrod Park, on the other hand, is a mixed use, if you will, with the playground. You have the residential area. It's kind of a unique situation in that it's right in the middle of a neighborhood. And I do understand your point in that it's in the middle of a neighborhood. as opposed to kind of not in the middle. And is this something that we were asked to do by someone?
Yes, sir. Well, not specifically, no. We do have a pickleball tournament, and it was asked, do we already have that in place? And we currently do not.
Okay, but they're still moving forward with the pickleball tournament either
That's
way?
correct. Yes.
Okay. And so if we vote against this, we vote no, is it going to prevent these tournaments from going forward?
We will not.
Pardon?
Until we'll know after the fact.
But is it your understanding? But is it your understanding? Is it your understanding that is it your understanding that this won't have a impact on it?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No, sir. I will say that it's been mentioned, like potentially at the amphitheater having like a wind down in the future at the amphitheater area for like a Sunday night, have some jazz in the park and allowing wine. So those are other specific ideas that has been brought up. So
Councilwoman Neesmith, and then Braddock.
And I can understand that a lot of these, especially the tennis association, that could be one of their ways of bringing in revenue.
that's correct.
By having the purchase of these things. And I don't think people are out there to abuse it. I do understand what you're saying, Councilman Braddock, but there is a bar that is not too far from there. And so I don't see any issue. I do understand that it may make the day go by a little bit more if they had a little beer, wine, and make them enjoy it a little better. But I don't have any issues, and I definitely understand. I'm comfortable with us being able to have that $1 million liquor liability, us as the certificate holder, which means we won't be liable for anything, and it would definitely put all the liability on that organization. So I feel better with that.
Yeah.
Councilman Braddock.
Go ahead, Councilman Braddock.
Yeah, I would just say, as you vote, just look at that as a blank and put Lucas Park, Ebenezer Park, Jebailey Park, or Levi Park in there, because that's exactly what you're doing. Is if you say yes to this, you're basically, saying yes to all these other parks that are in residential areas that we certainly wouldn't want that type of activity to take place.
So my question is, what makes the other parks different? We can see that there are a lot more amenities and space. Timrod Park is 20 acres.
Yes, ma'am.
How many acres is Isla Jones Park?
Not 20.
And so what is the difference between so if this does come up, because that was the question, if this comes up again, why can't we do it on said park? What could we say?
So we would have to look at the totality of it. For instance, you mentioned Lucas Park. Lucas Park would not be a space where we would have large events or tournaments of wine.
We would assume the city would be responsible for marking those areas off of where they can consume, correct?
We can look into that.
But after they're drunk, they can go anywhere.
Well, the police will be out there.
Okay.
The boys in blue will be out there.
But we could put barriers. We could put barriers to identify which areas specifically.
I think we all have our belief and stance, and I think Councilman Jebailey wants.
I think with the healthy discussion that we've had and different points of view, it might be a good idea for us to defer on this, to have further conversation and to see if we can gain more information from the city on how this all works. Because it sounds like there's a lot of details that we're really not sure about how that all works. So I'd make a motion to defer.
I got discussion on your deferral.
There's a motion and a second to defer.
Can I get a discussion on deferral before we defer? Do we have a time for the said tournament, I guess, that has brought this to our attention. Is there a timetable that we have?
Yes, the tournament is next month.
Like after council meeting next month or before council meeting of next month?
I'm not sure. I have to look at the calendar.
I can vote no today or vote no next month. Y'all just tell me.
Don't sound like your mind gonna change with no more information, you know what I mean?
Well, I think they're looking at the date because if that's the case, if
It's before.
it's before,
Yes, ma'am.
so we would need to vote. So we would need to vote. So
All right,
we-
then I'll withdraw my motion to defer.
yeah. So we all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes?
Nay.
Ayes have it. Ayes have it.
All right, thank you.
Did you all need the hands on that one? So if you signify by saying aye, could you raise your hand? Opposes?
Who got it?
Yeah, he's got it. He's got
Ayes
it.
have it.
The ayes have it. Thank you. All right. Next, we have resolution number 2025-12. It's a resolution to adopt the Community Development Block Grant Budget for fiscal year of 2025 through 2026. This has been moved to defer. All right, now we will go to appointments, reports to council, appointments to boards and commissions. That will be in executive session. Now we'll have city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Recently, I've had a lot of questions about the AESC plant, and particularly some of the traffic related to that area near the Wilson High School. I have with us Mr. Hemingway, who's been working on that project. That project is in the county, but the city has been working on that, and Mr. Hemingway is here to give us an update on that program.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and Council. Based on what the city manager just said, here I'm going to go through some different photos showing the construction of the new driveway along Energy Drive that will serve as the major course of egress and egress from the AESC facility that's running parallel to the CXX rail line that'll come all the way back out to Highway 327. Here is a photo shot of the new road, access road, immediately behind AESC. Let me pull it back up. And here you can see where it ties in and connects to Estate Carpers Road on that particular photo. And then we're going to go a little bit further down. This portion of the road is not paved yet. You see the grading and coursework going on here.
Quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
That previous picture, is that off of?
That's heading east toward North Williston Road.
Yeah.
So the first shot is immediately behind the facility. So now they're using this portion of the road to bring their materials in and out of the facility.
Mm-hmm.
So the next shot is going to be a little bit further down beyond the paved portion of the road. And you see, all right, so it doesn't show the connection to the paved portion, but you're going east. So we're going to be showing you going from the most western spot immediately behind the facility all the way out to 327.
Got it.
All right, so this would be the next shot heading east, but it's another shot of the construction. So now we're at Williston Road. So the first shot was at Estate Carpers Road. So we've now made it our way to Estate Williamson Road. And this road, as the city manager sent an email earlier, we're getting ready to do a bypass as they get ready to rework this intersection on North Williston Road. So there'll be a temporary closure here to allow for them to build a new intersection for Energy Drive and North Williamson Road to be connected together.
And so would it be a stoplight, stop sign? Did we go through that yet?
It'll be a stop sign during this first phase, but hopefully as the technology park over the 1,200 plus acres, as it develops out, then as more traffic, then it's going to be designed that this will be a lighted interchange in the future as traffic increases. But the first phase is just going to be a stop sign. And mainly, hopefully, the purpose is just for traffic coming in and out of AESC to use the new road, and then all of our local residents use the regular existing roads and not be on the new Energy Drive for the most part. But it will be open to the general public.
Okay, but they're not, you saying they're closing that whole street just to put?
No, ma'am, just a temporary. We got to make a connection. So DOT had certain requirements for this interchange. So in order to construct all of that, they are requiring us to close North Williamson Road for a little bit and put in a temporary road while the contractor makes that intersection improvement.
What's a little bit?
Depends, hopefully 30 days, but it all depends on whether we get any rain events that might slow that down, because they're going to have to excavate all the dirt and then backfill and then put crush and run before they put the final asphalt layers back in. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Then the next this is where we got a stream crossing, and so you can see immediately up under the bridge. So we're having to build a bridge. This is between Williamson Road and North Williston Road, where we are presently building a bridge crossing, and you can see the water body beneath that particular shot. And this is as you approach 327, you can see to the left, you can see the back of the asphalt plant a little bit, and you can see where we already got a temporary part of the pavement of the road done. I'll pull it down. And you can see the asphalt there in this shot, and then the next shot, you'll see where the new training facility and the first core space is in place, and then they plan on getting the final core space between now and next month, because the training facility is scheduled to open next month. So the game plan right now is on schedule for the training facility to be open next month, be completed. And so
the state's funding all this, right? The road part?
Yes, sir. All the road was through Commerce Department. And you can see here, this is where we connect into 327. You got the turning lanes on both north and south direction.
So what you're saying is once this training center over, it's going to alleviate all that traffic over there by Wilson?
Well, the training center is on this part, and then over by Wilson, if you go through that, I don't have any this photo set, you can see where the road contract is now making the turning lanes at Estate Coppice Road and Old Marion Highway. So they're working now to make the interchange in the turning lanes there. But the whole road is scheduled to be completed by December this year. So we will still have temporary traffic between now and the end of the year before this road is completed on the current schedule.
Yeah, because I had to stop going that way. It was too much traffic. It was backed up. It's crazy in the mornings.
Yes, ma'am. There is a little bit of peak traffic at 7:30 when school takes in, and during the course when school gets out. But the rest of the day, there's not that much congestion. But doing taking and take out. So, like I said, December 31st is when everything should be completed. So next year this time, we shouldn't have that level of traffic at that particular interchange with the new road being open by this time next year.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we will have report from the mayor. Today, I don't see the representative for the Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Is anyone here? Well, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. April 30th, they are asking us to do a Jean Day, and the color is teal. So the city building will shine the light of teal for Sexual Awareness Month. Also, we did a media blitz for the community to join with Keep Florence Beautiful. Today, we went out and it was a blast this morning. We had 55 bags of trash, 4 mattresses, 3 couches, baby cribs, tires. It was a blast this morning. We started on Clement Street, and you almost can't see the road. So we started in opening that up, and also behind the baseball field where trees are growing out towards the road and children are jumping the ditch right into the road. We're started to clean that up for, so we are well on our way. I want to thank Myers Lawn Care, Glenn McAllister's Lawn Care, and Michael Williams Lawn Care with the 44 volunteers that showed up this morning. That will continue throughout the week, but we're calling for the community to join with Keep Florence Beautiful, that will be cleaning up our beautiful city all over. Please join us in making this a successful event. And I think there were some questions about what I told you. There were some questions about, we've got some calls about what are we doing for police profiling, and so I wanted Councilman McCall to address that. That was something that we did back in 2021 that's already in place. So, Councilman McCall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, in our community development meeting, we discussed that as well, particularly with the passage of the resolution for Madam Mayor's 5-point crime plan. I'm getting a lot of emails and calls pertaining to making sure that while everyone is in agreement that we need to make sure that crime is a priority in our community. They also wanted to make sure that there's no unnecessary targeting, and I guess this is a perfect time to indicate that we do have parameters in place, because I know back in 2021 we passed the Public Safety Review Board, which passed this council unanimously, which again, if there's any members of the community who felt as if their concerns were not being addressed by the police department, they have an independent review board to look into that matter, and that has been in place since 2021. Part of the review is, the members of that committee are required to have training with the police department as well as the fire department, and we have a very well-trained board who take their job very, very seriously. It's my understanding, I think, although that we do have that safeguard in place, my understanding, I don't think there has ever been a successful. No. We had one complaint, but none was sustained by that committee. So again, I want to give kudos to that committee for providing that safeguard, and also just making the public aware as well that although we're all in agreement on council that we need to make crime a priority, there is safeguards available. I think that wraps it up.
Thank you so much, because as you know, we are very, very serious about cleaning up our community, and we want safe communities. However, with us talking about cleaning up and making it a priority, we want you to know that we've not had incidents. So when we're getting phone calls and emails about this, we have been on top of any issue, but it's still, we've got to clean up our community, and so we are going to address crime by with all that we can. So that's all that I have. Next, we will have the Business Committee Department.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Business Development Committee met March 20, and we had attendance from myself, the mayor, as well as Councilman Braddock, along with Scotty Davis, Clint Moore, and Michael Hemingway. We reviewed the minutes of the previous meeting, and then we heard from our new we heard from our new executive director at the airport, Brad Beatles, who got here in January and has hit the ground running and has been a blur with all he has been doing since then. And we received a report on that from Brad, and what I would like to do at this time is and Mr. Beatles is here, I'd ask him to come up and to the microphone here and give a brief review of what you gave us, which was a very detailed review of your 5-year, 10-year plan and all the things happening, but you can condense that down if you'd like for us, if you're able to do that.
I will certainly try.
But welcome to Florence, and we're happy to have you here.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council members. I am the new airport director. My name is Brad Beatles. Try to condense that down is a little difficult, but Florence has a lot of things that other airports don't have, but the main thing we have is potential. We have a lot of land that many airports are envious of, and there's a lot of opportunity to expand that, to bring in new air service, some new economic development, and possible jobs and things like that. So if you all would like to know more about that, I am here to personally invite you to Aviation Day. So South Carolina puts on Aviation Week every year to highlight the airport's roles in the economic development and growth within the state. And so Florence has not done one since pre-COVID, so we're happy to be back.
Yes.
I'll leave flyers here that you all can come and get, but we're having it on April 28th, and we have a lot of community involvement that we're really excited about. We have a lot of the schools coming out, Sheriff's Department, Global Medical Response, who is our Lifelight, based in Marion for now. So we have a lot of things going on. There will be prizes that usually gets people there, and free food. So I know you'll come now. But if you have any specific questions for me, I'm more than happy to tell you. The main thing I want to get out is that I do apologize that the airport has not played a more significant role in Florence or the surrounding area, PD region, and I'm here to change that. Promise you that.
Thank you. And just so and Amanda, if there's any way that maybe we can get this up on our website and get that out, so we'll make sure that Amanda has it. But for everybody at home, it's April the 28th from noon until 7.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
And what day in the week is the 28th?
It is a Monday.
All right.
And American Airlines will be there to talk about pilot recruiting, and Advantage Academy actually made all of the raffle prizes, the welding department and graphic design team. So really happy to have the support of the community behind the airport. So
Thank you very much. We
Yes.
appreciate that.
Thank
And what we are very excited about and what we talked about at our Business Development Committee meeting is the partnership between the airport and the city that has been not formalized, that has been something that I think we at the city have felt like would benefit greatly from it. And with your assistance, as well as Robbie Hill and Chairman Josie and myself and Mayor and other members of our committee, we have been working to try to make that relationship more formal. And so this is an important step. And so I just want to thank all of council for your support that you've given up until now and moving forward, because there's this we are looking forward to the airport taking flight. How about that?
Noted.
Okay.
I will say the communication has not been there. So to council and everyone here today, it's pretty easy to find me, especially in Florence. So if you guys honestly do have anything that you would like to discuss, I am free and open to the public at all times, as long as I'm not busy.
And I'll just fly flow.
Hashtag fly flow.
So just so you know, because this is always a question that's asked, are we looking to add more flights with American? Are we looking to add another airline? Is that something that is being considered?
Absolutely. So most questions I get are, when do we get another airline? A a lot of people didn't even understand that we didn't even have room for another airline. We had another ticket counter that was cannibalized to, you know, repair some other things that we had there. So that should be done right before Aviation Day, and then we can go and you know, try to entice another airline. I've been in contact with Delta and Breeze and going to a Jumpstart conference, an Air Service Development Conference in June, and I put my salesman hat on and try to sell Florence to one of those airlines, and lots going to happen. I can promise you that. So,
In the meantime, if anybody has any flight plans in their future, fly flow.
yes, please plan early. Florence can be expensive, but there have been times that I've looked, and it is a $10 or $20 difference from Myrtle Beach or Charlotte. Right? You just got to, if you're planning a few weeks ahead, it's probably not going to work out for you. But we have the best staff at Florence that you can ask for. TSA, American, will bend over backwards to help you get on your flight. You don't have to worry about TSA. Parking's right there. Like, there's so much that Florence has to offer that no one else can offer. So please give it a shot. Plan early. Fly flow.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
So that was the overwhelming majority of our time that was spent dealing with that. And that's the report of the Business Development Committee. Is there something else?
Yeah, Councilman Bailey, I would like to ask, you know, you being the chair, I'd like to step down from that committee. It's been a huge blessing to me in terms of learning so much about the city. But I think that with our new councilman coming on board and with his background with commerce and with economic development, that it would be a great onboarding opportunity for Councilman McKay.
So you're looking to resign from this committee and you're nominating Councilman McKay?
If I can, I don't know if
Well,
I
you
can.
you can make a recommendation.
I make a recommendation.
You can make a
yes,
recommendation.
correct, yes.
Yeah. Well, that is certainly noted, and
Yeah, can we deal
we'll
with that?
we'll report that at the next committee meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, is that the appropriate? Would that be the appropriate time to do it at the next committee meeting?
Yes,
Yep. Okay.
yes, yes.
All right. Thank you.
So next is the community development, and I was so geared up about the cleanup that was the community development report. But one thing I can say, we have been doing for the mayor's report, we've been doing our fireside chat, and we have on last week, the city manager and myself did. First, I want to say to staff, thank you. They are on their off hours doing these fireside chats, and it is going over very well. People are really appreciating us giving them the updates and having open dialogue with them and a listening ear. So thank you so much, because at several of them we served food, and they went out and literally served. The people did not have to get up. We served them food. We catered to them. So I thank you so much, because you didn't have to do it. But on last week, well, was that this week? No, it's last week. It's Monday. Last week, Scotty, city manager, and myself went and did a fireside chat with just the two of us, and it went over very, very well with our realtors, and hopefully we can do more. We want the connections to, we want to connect the dots so that we could all be one. So thank you, city manager and council, for allowing us to be able to do that. That's all from me, and now we will have finance from McCall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On March 25th, we just received as information. We received an update on the auditor for the RFP reward. It's my understanding there's only one applicant, which was the previous auditor who conducted our audit for the city. Additionally, we received the financial packet for February 2025, and our interim CFO, he fielded questions regarding budget and expenditure items, expenditure items, excuse me. And lastly, Councilman Smith and Councilman Braddock spoke on the CARES program and the success on it, while also making suggestions for the future use of it. And that concluded our meeting, our information that was received.
Thank you so much. Council, if you don't mind, the ordinance about the UDO regarding the setbacks for communication towers, before we go into executive session, there is an attorney here that's here to talk to us. Could we get the information before we go into, if that's okay? So if you don't mind, can we have the attorney to come up? Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. So my name's Sarah Sproul. I'm here on behalf of Duke Energy. And I have with me, more important than me, because y'all have plenty of legal advice. Y'all don't need to hear it from me. I have some technical support here. I have some engineers here. I have Patrick Bernier and Caleb Jurgensen who can answer any questions you have. So the amendment we're seeking, under the current ordinance, there has to be a foot-for-foot setback between any communication tower and the next lot line. Under modern engineering, the way towers are designed now, if you put up a new tower, they would never just fall straight over. So you don't need the whole foot-for-foot setback. So what we've proposed is that the UDO be amended to reflect that reality in modern tower design, so that when an engineer has designed it, has signed off on it, and says this is the fall zone, that would be the setback from a residential lot line. And Patrick and Caleb can explain that a lot better than I can. And I would like for y'all to ask any questions you have of them of how technically that would work and why that doesn't present extra danger to nearby residential properties.
Come on up, we won't bite.
Do y'all have pictures?
They didn't bring their tower last time. We had a model tower for planning commission.
Okay, nice.
Yep, so basically it just ties into advancements in design software that we have. We're able to more accurately model these towers and then place key members and key points on the tower to control how and where it would fall in the event that it did. And granted, these events are very extreme events, right? They're not your typical weather. They're hurricane level, Category 4 or higher events, and then the fall zone would have to be certified by a professional engineer who designed the tower. So we're not saying that just anybody can build a tower anywhere. It still has to be engineered, certified, and then backed by that individual. So there's a lot of regions that this update has happened. We do see the older UDOs a lot of times will have requirements of a 1-for-1 or something similar, and this is just kind of updating to be more in line with the technology that we have available.
Councilman.
What is the purpose of wanting to have it closer to right-of-way? In other words, right now it's a 1-for-1 setback. So if you have a 100-foot tall tower, you're going to have to be 100 foot back. Well, that seems to me to serve a fall zone purpose, but it also serves an aesthetic purpose of being further out. So I'm trying to understand why there's a reason to put a 100-foot tall tower 20 feet away. Why? What's the point of having it be, of changing it? What's the value in that?
So I do have an answer there. So these are Duke's specific question involves its existing substations, which already have towers under old tower design that predate the zoning code. So there are already towers out here. This is to replace them with newer, safer models, and the concern isn't the general setback lines. This is the specific foot-for-foot requirement to residential uses.
So it wouldn't, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish it.
Yeah, so I'm still, and maybe now we're kind of getting into the legal issue a little bit. So maybe this, I don't know if this we need to invite them to come back into executive session to have conversation on the legal bit.
Don't know that that would be necessary for them procedurally to join, but I think if there are any other questions for clarity, it'd be fine to ask them now to address that even though.
Okay, you got McCall, Neesmith, and then Braddock.
And I think you, I'm recognized.
Yes.
Okay. I think you partially answered. I didn't think I catched it all the way, but you said we have an older UDO, and other cities and regions have already. Is there any other cities in particular we can point to that already
Yes.
made that change?
So, in the packet presenting to the Planning Commission, there are similar provisions to what we're arguing for here in Sumter, Darlington, Charleston, and Georgetown counties, York County. And also, we listed there City of Surfside and City of Walterboro.
Okay.
So there are numerous jurisdictions in the area that have adopted similar, consistent with modern engineering standards for communications towers.
Thank you. That answered my question.
And
Oh, I'm sorry, so specifically for the substation we're looking at, there's an existing 300-foot tower, approximately 300-foot tower, guide tower. So where that is on the property, existing non-conforming use, right? Because now the code has changed since it was built. What we're trying to do is replace that tower with a new tower very adjacent to the existing tower so that all of the communications stay in the one compound. And this has come across in other jurisdictions as well, where these existing substations have these old end-of-life towers. And so in order to make them, in order to get the capacity and the future expansion needs that we need, we're having to replace them in those locations.
Okay, wait a minute.
And I did want to throw in there that even with this zoning text amendment, it'll still have to go through the special exception process for any tower that's going to be built on a specific site.
Just so that we can go in order. Go ahead.
So, and I know exactly the tower you're referring to, and I understand the point of it. My concern isn't that tower. I don't have any issues with that. I don't have any concerns with that. My concern is it's communication towers in general. It's changing UDO. It's somebody else wanting to come in at some point in the future and put something up that's not Duke. It's somebody else. And so if we can't, is there a way, and I don't know the answer to this, is there a way to address your specific request without changing the UDO? And I don't know the answer to that, where it opens it up in general and where it makes it where everybody is now open season, and if in case any cell phone, provider wants to come put a tower up somewhere.
Sure, and so the reason we are here in the special exception process, this foot-for-foot setback requirement from residential uses isn't waivable. So we have no way to get this issue in front of the ZBA without this text amendment. The text amendment doesn't change any of the other setback requirements. It is very narrowly tailored when you look at the attachment to just paragraph 6 in the communications tower provision. So it doesn't change anything else about the setbacks, anything else about their numerous requirements for communications towers. All this says is if you have a site that fits within the fall zone from a residential use, you can petition for that special exception, and the ZBA will determine if the use is appropriate.
So this is a request for a change to allow for a special exception.
Correct. It's not waivable under the current ordinance.
Councilwoman Neesmith and then Brad.
so I know you mentioned Surfside, Darlington, Sumter, Charleston, all those other counties. Have they already changed their UDOs already?
So yes, and we can resend this to council. We can send the application that went in front of the Planning Commission. But yes, these are provisions that have been adopted by those jurisdictions with language very similar to what we're proposing here.
Okay. And how tall are these towers going to be?
So again, it will be subject to the application for each individual site. The specific one that brought us here, that tower is a 300-foot tower.
Okay. Now, when you say they don't fall straight over, when they do fall, how they falling?
So the most common is to put the critical stress point or the most likely point of failure in the center of the tower, therefore making the tower fold in on itself. So, common knowledge says something falls, it falls straight over. But given the lattice type nature or kind of, angle iron that's framed up together, you put that point in the middle so that if it were to overstress, it wouldn't fail down at the very bottom and fall straight over. It would fail in the middle and kind of fold in upon itself.
And so, what would be the new fall zone or the new setback from each one? It's 50, right? It's 50 feet?
From one to one to what?
No,
Yeah.
it would depend based on the individual design of each tower, and that's why it has this requirement that an engineer has to certify it, an engineer has to design it. That's why those requirements are there, because it depends case by case where that point's gonna be.
And how long those towers last?
So Duke Energy considers these towers 50-year assets. The one that we're replacing is about 50 years old. We're doing this across the footprint, and like Caleb can talk about, we design them at the highest risk category, which means they're utility grade towers. We design our towers in a much higher wind speeds and ice and stuff like that than the carriers do, like the third-party American towers. Ours are better designed and stronger than their towers.
Okay, Councilman Braddock.
So, two questions. One, with this change, it would still have to go through the BZA or some other committee. And two,
Yes.
so what you're saying, if it's a 300-foot tower and you engineer it to collapse at 150 feet, then it would be a 1-to-1 on the 150 feet?
Correct. It would be, the distance would be the fall zone instead of the full height.
Gotcha.
Okay? You're good? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Council, we now have executive session. We will go into executive session for discussion regarding appointments to boards and commissions, to discuss contractual matter regarding Urban Square, to receive updates pending lawsuit, to discuss a contractual matter regarding the purchase of property, and also now the discussion about the UDO and the design review. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
We are in executive session.